Yes, warm greetings of the day. So today our guest is Dr. Govind Divagaran, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, KL University. So our topic of discussion is on application of artificial intelligence to speech synthesis, speech recognition, prosody model and computer vision and healthcare. So talking about Dr. Govind Divagaran, he has joined KL University as professor in Department of Computer Science Engineering in March 2021. He has completed his PhD in area of speech signal processing from Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati in 2013. He was working at the Center for Computational Engineering and Networking at Amrita Vishwavidyapitham for nearly 9 years from 2012. His areas of interest include artificial intelligence and machine learning, applications in speech synthesis, speech recognition, emotion, uh, emotion recognition, image processing, biomedical signal processing, etc. He has working experience in the UK in the Education Research Initiative project titled Studies on the Source Features for Speech Synthesis, Speaker Recognition from 2008 to 2012. He has published more than 60 research publications, including the renowned conferences in the area of speech processing like Interspeech, ICASSP, Speech, Prosody, etc., and other reputed journals. He has been involved in various government of India sponsored funded projects by MAITY, DST, TAH, etc. He has developed and successfully deployed different industrial consultancy projects in the areas of speech recognition and speech synthesis. He has graduated 3 PhD students and guided more than 30 PG dissertations. Okay, so welcome Dr. Govind for this discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting to this forum, for interacting with you about my research. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I would like to, because your area of interest is on artificial intelligence. So nowadays, this artificial intelligence, this terminology is confusing everywhere. As we know, machine learning and deep, machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence. And data science is coming. And machine learning, we are having a mathematical modeling too. And there are a lot of algorithms. So can you please give some idea about artificial intelligence and your area of interest on research regarding to speech synthesis?
Yeah. So see, when we talk about speech synthesis, which is actually my core area of research, basically you must have the basic speech synthesis system. Everybody knows. Like if you go to a railway station, the train number, they will tell no train number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that is basically what we call a basic, a fundamental speech synthesis. Okay, so when we talk about the speech synthesis, as a system, we expand the system. A lot of other things, features will be coming into picture. For example, in the case of railway, public address system. So what we do is that the vocabulary, it is restricted to numbers. So what will happen if we want to expand this over some sort of sentences, okay, which are there in the dictionary? So there will be issues also coming into picture, so first thing is that if you look at the railway public address system as a base text to speech system, so what will be the problem here? What will be the issue here? So I have to record all sort of all the words in the dictionary, so as you know that recording all the words in the dictionary is going to be it is a difficult task, right? So now what is the best solution here? Okay, instead of storing the entire dictionary, Oxford dictionary, if it is English or if it is Malayalam, all the words in the Malayalam dictionary, if I started storing, it is so difficult. Practically it is impossible. So we have to get solutions, so what is the best solution here? So in the case of speech synthesis, what we do is that we come up with especially in the phoneticians, You know, this, so when we talk about speech synthesis, speech processing as an area, basically it is interdisciplinary in nature. So you must have heard of this term interdisciplinary in association with the AI and ML. So, you know, if you look at the job openings everywhere, if you look at Wednesday's Hindu paper, you know, when you look at the job openings, so one of the basic requirement is the applicant should have some knowledge of multidisciplinary areas. Okay, so what is multidisciplinary? You know, suppose we are actually talking about one particular subject, you know, it is actually spanned across different subjects, not a single subject. So similarly, in the case of speech, as an example, you know, when we talk about speech, so we are talking, you know, so there are speech signals, you know, that is that is a signal thing. So a person who is studying electronics and communication, there is a subject called signal processing. Okay, so is it speech only about signal processing? No. So when we speak, we are actually using a language as a medium to communicate. Okay, so language is there, right? Then there is another the speaking styles, because my speaking style will be different from yours. So all the speaking styles will be there. So then also there are when we talk about when we talk when we communicate in speech, using a particular language, the letter to sound rules, we have to follow the rules of a particular language, right? The constructs used in that language we have to follow. So that is actually the topic which is studied by a linguist or a language experts. Okay, so when we consider all these things, when we talk try to talk about the speech processing in general, a lot of other things also will be coming into picture. For example, healthcare. So nowadays, paralinguistics is actually going to be very, it's a booming area. Okay, so I'm not talking about that. I'm just restricting the interdisciplinary nature of my own topic, which is speech synthesis. So coming back to the issues, what I was actually talking about. For example, it is not possible to record all the words in a dictionary to develop a speech synthesis system. So what is the solution here? So instead of storing the basic all the words, what I can do is that I can actually store the basic units. So basic units, basic sound units. So experts say that when we talk about English, the English consists of there are 56 or 40 to 45 sound units. If you consider any of the Indian languages, it will come the number of sound units. The basic sound units that we use to communicate will be between 50 and 60. Okay, so instead of storing whole dictionary, if we store these basic units, okay, this will actually solve it will actually help us. Okay, that is one solution. So basically, indirectly what we are actually doing is that we are applying some AI. So AI means, according to me, it is bringing up some solution to a particular problem that we are actually facing. Okay, instead of when we talk about the previous thing, so the basic railway address system, public address system, when we talk about train number 123, okay, is coming to this platform. So 123, that particular part is speech synthesis. So what we are actually doing there, so an operator will be typing that number 1234. Okay, so when we press enter, it will generate the speech. Okay, so when we expand to a unrestricted domain, okay, so railway address system is a restricted domain. If we expand to an unrestricted domain, there will be challenges. So one of the challenges here is going to be, if you talk about a general system, we have to store all the words. So what is the solution here? One of the solution is actually store the basic units. So when you type some thing, what you do is that you convert that particular whatever the operator is has been typed, you convert that to the basic sounds, then play those basic sounds, connect all those basic sounds. But there are again problem there. The problem is that when you connect it, there will be discontinuities. It may sound like robotic. Okay, so what is a solution? So you have to improve the quality of the speech.
Okay, so
So
yeah, when
so
coming
this
when
goes
coming
on.
into picture, we can see that artificial intelligence and machine learning methods like deep learning and neural networks are common in advanced speech recognition softwares.
Hmm.
So the concept is that what is deep learning? It's also a part of artificial intelligence, like machine
Yeah.
learning. So what is the difference? Actually, now students are being confused when taking the terminology of deep learning, the terminology deep learning.
Yeah. So basically, if you specifically ask what is the difference between a machine learning and deep learning, is that, for example, if machine learning is actually a larger umbrella. Okay. So if you ask me, I would say that
Hello.
uh, can you hear me?
Yes, no, it's clear.
Yeah. I was actually talking about the difference between machine learning and deep learning. Uh, Basically, according to me, machine learning is actually a larger umbrella. Okay, deep learning comes after under this larger umbrella of machine learning. So in general, when you're actually distinguish between machine learning and deep learning, those who are actually working in machine learning, they use features, we have a data, and we have to extract some features, salient features, or that uniquely represent that particular data. It could be statistical features, or it could be features which are very specific to that particular data. And a model will be used. It could be any model. Okay, a model will be used to model these features, which is extracted. But the problem with the machine learning is that so it is so hard to understand what those features are. Okay, it is very difficult to uniquely identify those features of a particular data. So instead of that, the recent development is deep learning. So what the deep learning will help here, we don't have to extract anything. You just pump the data. It is data driven. Okay, pump the data to a network, okay, or a model. Okay, and the model will learn all these features by its own. So the important module of, or the that difficult module of selecting the features, not required here. Okay, but there are pros and cons associated with the deep learning.
Okay,
Okay.
so computer vision is also a part of AI, right? Computer vision is
Yes,
also a part
yes,
of
yes,
AI. So I think it's mostly related with image processing.
yes.
So how we are having a lot of algorithms for image processing also, basically starting with MATLAB and all other things. When AI coming into picture, what will be the advancement in image processing and image enhancement methods?
The basic deep learning networks, for example, which are used for computer vision, for instance, image classification. Okay, it is successfully applied actually. So first, what they do, if you look at the scientists who developed, those who are actually working in who developed these deep learning networks, for example, Jeffrey Hinton, he's considered as the father of deep learning. He applied first his whole the prototype models, okay, on image processing. Okay, then it was extended to speech recognition and so on. And there is another scientist. So these are the people we have to look after. If you're actually working in the deep learning or the computer vision areas. Okay, so these people, they first applied their network on deep learning, and then they extended to various fields. Okay, so one of the successful successfully applied, where the application of the deep learning was very much successful in the following areas, like image classification, scene classification, image segmentation. Those areas were considered previously, it was considered as quite difficult when we use the feature extraction and model a particular, select a particular machine learning model, to identify or segment a given image. So but these things are proved to be a little bit successful, this application of deep learning in these kind of areas. That's why it is quite popular. And also whatever we are actually using in deep learning, the deep learning models which are actually used in speech recognition or speech synthesis, they're all taken from essentially from image processing. Those who are proved, the models which are proved successful in image processing, they directly use this one.
So we can
Okay.
consider deep learning as a subset of like machine learning, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Of course,
A
according to me, it
subset,
is a
and it
subset of
is
machine
using
learning.
some like neural networks to minimize the process. So when it
Yes,
comes to
yes.
neural networks, again, we are having some what is neural network? So what is fossil? All these things are coming related to it.
Yeah,
So what is
yeah,
neural networks actually? The main doubt actually happening to students when they're discussing these topics. Like
yeah.
to
So,
minimize the learning process of human brain. Actually, we can take AI as something which is used to duplicate the human process, human intelligence. But actually, everything is not possible.
yeah. So if you ask me this question in one sentence, I can actually answer this like neural network is nothing but the model of a human brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, why it is? Because humans have this central nervous system, you know. So where you're from your fingertip or from feet to this one, there is a connection, a neural, there is a network of neurons. Neuron is nothing but it's a basic building block of a central nervous system. So neural network is actually they developed this particular scheme or this particular model is to simulate the human brain, because all these connections, whether it is a vision or whether it is a speech means when I speak, you are listening to me. Okay, so there will be perception. So when the speech is actually going through this ear, outer ear, middle ear, inner ear, then it will stimulate certain neurons directly. Those neural stimulations are actually interpreted by the brain. So
So we
basically
can,
when you are talking about,
so I think we can call AI like duplication of human intelligence, trying to duplicate human
yes,
intelligence with the help of machine learning.
yes,
And deep,
yeah,
like deep learning is coming as a subset of machine learning, and altogether
yes,
this neural network is coming. So my other
yes,
question, this is a question of curiosity. Now we are all
yeah.
thinking about artificial intelligence, whether it's possible to replace total human intelligence with artificial intelligence in future.
People are actually, yeah, people are actually talking about it, but humanoid robots and all those this thing. No, it is the system is quite complicated because certain things humans cannot do, right? So certain the why we are actually taking talking about this human, for example, the invention of robots. What is the motivation? For example, when you're actually working in some of the nuclear reactors and all, where radiations are there, humans cannot go there. So they designed the robots so that robots can actually go near any kind of radiation which are harmful to the human body. They can easily go and they can do certain tasks. Okay, that is the whole purpose. Okay, so in the case of this one, data science and data analytics, and in the context of these the recent you know hot topics. Okay, so um, what we are actually what we are going after is how do we minimize the human efforts with the help of machine learning and AI. Okay, that is a whole purpose. For example, suppose there is a function, there is a football match, Kerala Blasters versus Hyderabad. Okay, if you go to the Kochi stadium, it is very difficult to even stand. All people are actually standing with their phones and all. In a per second, how many data they are actually transmitting? Per second, there will be terabytes of data. If somebody wants to analyze those data, okay, humanly it is impossible. So that is why they are actually bringing in these kind of models. Okay, so that a model can actually easily run on a particular this one, whether it is surveillance or any, let it be anything. Okay, for entertainment or surveillance, whatever it may be, going through or digging or mining terabytes of data per second. Okay, it is very difficult. Okay, so these techniques, these equipments are there. There's algorithms are there. Deep learning is actually there, which accurately extract the information in no time. Okay, and they will arrive in a particular decision. So that is the whole purpose here.
So when we are taking the long evolution of invention, starting from the old television to nowadays the LED, LCD, and smart televisions, we can see there comes an intelligence. In earlier, there was no memory. Everything was analog, and we are just doing. Now we are having the storage. Everything is coming with the storage. Day to day, the mobiles are also changing. So
Yeah,
altogether,
yeah.
can be called like robotics or embedded system or biomedical engineering. Altogether is coming something related to artificial intelligence. Like that memory is there, and we are processing that. Like as you have
Yeah.
mentioned, the emotional extraction is also being done in humanoid robotics, and all such
Yeah.
inventions are being coming. And in future, the driverless car is coming, and we are having some sync with renewable energy sources. So altogether, it's a mix of everything. And I think nowadays we are only highlighting this terminology like artificial intelligence.
Yeah, so see, this artificial intelligence has to be applied in different areas, and there will be a framework. There will be a framework. For example, when we talk about one, emerging field called IoT. So what we do, the Internet of Things. Okay, there we are actually discussing about connecting various sensors, all the data which are actually received by these various sensors. For example, I want to operate TV, at the same time I want to operate some other device in my home. Okay, so what I do, there will be a central this thing. Okay, central unit. So the through this various connections, we can actually operate various we can process the data collected by various devices. Okay, ultimately, in the case of artificial intelligence, what it means is it is a machine. It is a method to process the data. It could be any sort of data. For example, when we talk about image processing, the data is going to be image, or it could be a video. When we talk about speech, it could be a speech. Ultimately, it is data. So whatever data is actually given to a machine learning algorithm, it should be able to process, and it has to dig the information, the context. That is, AI is all about that. Okay, then what we do with that information, that is up to the application and up to the the person who is actually up to the user.
So when it comes to browsing something, if I'm searching something in the Google also, the related things will be appearing. So it's an application of an ML, right? Because it's some,
It is ML. Yes.
yeah, because data extraction only, like similar, like it is giving some identification of data.
Yes, yes. That is actually another part of a module in AI itself, where the data will be processed when you search. For example, if I am browsing through in Amazon some products, okay, the next time when I open my Gmail, there will be recommendation. Okay, it is also a kind of AI, a result of AI. We call it as recommendation systems. Then we have bots. Nowadays, when you purchase a TV, there is a complaint. If I want to contact the customer care to resolve a particular complaint about my TV, so I cannot actually directly call. That was the case which was used to be some 3-4 years back or 5-6 years back. Okay, there is a customer care number. Now it is not there. Everything is handled by bots, chat bots. So you'll be asked to chat. Okay, chat something. So what is the issue? The bot will actually resolve. So it will take out what exactly. It will automatically, apply some NLP. NLP means natural language processing. It will process the text, what I type. Based on that, information will be extracted, and it will be giving you solution. Okay, so that is what is happening now. Okay, so these are all intervention for the as a result of a development of AI. Okay,
So I
so
would like to know something about the prosody modeling. What is that prosody? Something related to speech only. So what is that prosody modeling?
okay, so prosody is actually it's a term which is familiar to those who are actually working in the area of speech processing. Because I specifically did my PhD in prosody. Basically, prosody means in simple ways. Prosody means, for example, I'm basically I born in the Ernakulam area, North Parvur. Okay, and there is somebody. My wife is actually from Thrissur. My style of speaking is quite different from, even though we speak Malayalam. My way of speaking and my wife's way of speaking is totally different. Okay, so what is the difference here? The difference is prosody. It could be prosodic information. That information, no? The prosodic information is actually directly related to various aspects of or various attributes of the speech. For example, it could be, characteristics of a dialect or an accent. Okay, Thrissur accent, Trivandrum accent. Prosody is actually the difference, even though the language is same. Okay, there are certain languages, there in India, when you talk about certain languages, sometimes this prosody or prosodic information will represent even meaning. For example, I have a paper with one of my professors in IIT Guwahati, where I did my PhD. So we were actually working on a language called Mizo, which is actually the spoken language in Mizoram, state of Mizoram. Okay, Mizo has a property. It is a tonal language. Tonal language means, for example, it is there will be one sound. It is monosyllabic. For example, pa. Pa is actually meaning father. Pa, because it is pa only, but I spoke in a different way. I changed the tone. In a high pitch, I spoke this particular word. If I speak this one in a different tone, it gives rise to a different meaning. It is called mushroom.
So when it
Okay,
comes
and
to
similarly,
text
there
to
are different valid tones are there. One word spoken in 4 different tones, it will give you 4 different meaning. So
even
in that area, northeast area, there are a lot of interesting languages are there.
so I
Bodo.
think text to language conversion and like all these things are also being happening. Like we are having analog to digital conversion in between. A lot of things are happening, right? In the
Yeah,
processing.
yeah.
So it was a wonderful session. We got an idea about the general idea of about AI, then machine learning. Then we know that deep learning is a part of subset of machine learning. Then prosody like speech recognition, speech synthesis, the application in biomedical area, all these things, a general awareness. Because in current scenario, we can see all students are being confused about all this terminology, and there are a lot of added courses on this AI, deep learning, machine learning. But ultimately, they will be confused. Ultimately, they are learning the same thing in most of the cases. But ultimately, it all comes in altogether. We can call it as AI. And when come to mathematical modeling, all will be telling that again the same repetition is coming.
Yeah.
So I wish you a great success in your future endeavors and your projects in your
Thank
university.
you.
So thanks for spending your valuable time for this forum. So have a nice day.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.